everybody. Paul Turn here from thediscipleproject.net, here with a new video talking about Bible Club do's and don'ts. Before we get to that, though, I want to let you know that I have a couple of new resources up in my store at gumroad.com/youthmenresources. There'll be a link down in the description below. But I want to talk about the 5-week series Masterpiece, which is a great series if you're trying to get your kids back to a masterpiece mindset where they start thinking of themselves as creations of God, masterpieces of God, developed and designed by the artist himself, God, to do great things. This is the series you want to have. Also, if you want to tackle and battle loneliness, I have a series called Stand Alone Together, which is helping kids understand that it's one thing to be alone. It's another thing about loneliness. And the curriculum takes a look at different Bible characters who suffered and dealt with loneliness and how they moved through it. But it also helps kids understand that they don't have to go through this thing called loneliness by themselves. They can go through it together as a community, and that's what the curriculum's there to help do. So if you're interested in that, both of those are brand spanking new. They all come with slides and bumpers and all kinds of stuff in there, so be sure to check out the link down below. All right, so let's talk about Bible Club do's and don'ts. You may or may not be involved in a Bible Club at your school. They may or may not have one. But if you decide that you want to help encourage students to participate or to start something, let me offer a few tips. Let me start with the don'ts, first of all. Okay, number one is don't go it alone, right? Don't now listen, if you're the only person in the area, that's one thing, right? But if there's multiple churches around and it's something that's already started, go ahead and jump in with them and say, how can I help? How can I just how can I pray? How can I do some things, right? Instead of maybe starting your own thing. I know there's sometimes competition, believe it or not, between youth pastors who say, well, there's a Bible club, we're going to start our own Bible club and do this. That is a terrible idea. If one already exists, why not help facilitate that and encourage those that are still doing it, and then find a way to participate and says, hey, I'd like to help. I'll be happy to do anything you want me to do. I can bring donuts one week, something like that, and that would be a great idea and a great way to participate. So don't try to go it alone. Don't try to be the Lone Ranger and say, I'm going to try to build this thing all by myself. It's the student's responsibility. First of all, you should be helping them facilitate it, but network with other youth workers, ones that are already existing, maybe if the club's already existing, or if you want to help students get together, why not ask youth leaders that if there's no club started, why not help your students get together and let them plan a little bit together and help facilitate something like that. The second thing is don't invite kids to your youth group. Don't invite kids to your youth group. That's not what the Bible Club's there for. The Bible Club is there so that students can help facilitate ministry to their peers. It is not an on-ramp for our youth ministry. We are helping students develop into leaders by helping them do the lesson, do the thing, all that by themselves, not because of us. And don't invite kids to youth group. Don't invite kids to a big event. Don't bring flyers to your next big thing. That's not what that's there for. You're there to be a presence, to be a strength, and to be a encourager to those students who are participating in their morning Bible club so they can get refreshed, they can feel renewed, they can have ownership, and they can do ministry that is going to help impact their friends and their school. So don't go there and be all cheesy and bring your invites and all that kind of stuff. That's terrible. Don't do that. The third thing is don't make it about you. Don't talk about your rights. You have zero rights, by the way, in that school, okay? You don't have any rights. And don't fight necessarily on behalf of your students. We don't need to escalate things. That's not a great idea. Work together with the administration, work together with principals, work together with teachers. It's not an us versus them. It's us in it together. How do we facilitate ministry? How do we do things right and do things well without getting off onto claiming rights and things like this? By the way, it's a privilege to be on campus. If we are allowed in any way, shape, or form to get onto campus to help or to facilitate or to be an encouragement to teachers or the principal or anything like that, treat it as a privilege. Don't treat it as a right, because you don't have any rights. The students have rights, but you don't. So don't make it about you. Don't make it about your rights, or I have the right to do this, or I have the right to do that. That is the wrong approach. That is the wrong tone of voice that we should have. We should be grateful and thankful that we are invited on or allowed to participate in any way. That's just my take on it. I think it's worked effectively for me over the years because I've worked in Bible clubs, and I try to take a position of gratefulness and humility. And that goes much farther than if I try to go in there and say, hey, I'm the youth pastor and I think I belong here and I think I'm allowed to be here and, we need to check the rules and Constitution and all that stuff. That's not the plan. That's not the way I do things, and that's probably not a great idea to take that approach. It's much better to come in and be humble and say, how can I serve you, the local school? Let's get into the do's, because there are some great do's that you can do if you're going to do and participate in Bible clubs. The first do is let kids do the meeting, right? Let them do it. I'm talking about and this is all preset, right? This is, you already have week to week. You're saying, okay, who's going to get up and do any announcements? Who's going to go ahead and lead the devotion? Who is going to do the closing prayer? Who's going to do the opening prayer? Who's going to bring their guitar and lead the worship song, or whatever it may be? We can help with the organizational part. We can put resources in a kid's hand and say, hey, here's the devotions for the next 12 weeks. Let's pass this book around so that if you don't feel like you have to work it up yourself. If you want to simply share a devotion from the book, share a devotion from the book. But do let the kids do the ministry. That's what the Bible Club is there for, so they can be an encouragement and an example to their friends as they are doing ministry. That what you're doing in your youth ministry to help train up leaders, which I hope you are, they're now putting that on display in front of their friends within the context of their meeting, not our meeting, their meeting as they do ministry towards their friends. Number 2, go ahead and pray for these kids. Pray, lift them up. If you know who's going to be delivering the devotion or doing whatever, pray for those kids to do well. Sometimes it can be about ego. Sometimes it can be about, well, what about me? Why can't I get up there and crush it? I know I can get up there and do this better than them. Well, what's the point? What's the point? So what? You have a youth group. You're a pastor. You have a weekly platform to do that. You don't need another platform. You need to check your ego at the door and say, hey, this is not about me. This is about these kids living into their faith and helping their friends come to know Christ through what Christ is doing in them and through them. And so we should pray for them above all things, pray for them to be successful. And they do well. They should crush it way beyond us, regardless of whether they have the skills or the whatever those may be. Listen, their 87, their 67, their 57 is better than our 100%. Because they're leaning into their gifts and callings, and they have to call up the strength and the faith within themselves to stand before their friends. You may be trained to do it. You may be a natural person up in front of people, but I've seen kids get up who were not trained speakers. Most of them are not trained speakers. Most get up. Some have a gift for gab, but the ones that don't, the ones that just get up there and share their hearts, it's not some great speech or anything like that. But let me tell you what, their 57% effort was better than my 100% effort because they leaned into their faith, found the courage, and shared what God had put on their heart. The third way is do find a way to serve your school. Find a way to pray for teachers, collect prayer requests, find a way to bring donuts and put them in the teacher lounge. When we do once a month Donut Day, which goes over very well, by the way, teachers come by and they grab a donut. The cleaning lady comes by and grabs a donut. You get to communicate with them, and that's the deal there. Is our role is to help be an encouragement to the greater school body there, that we can be able to help and serve adults that are there. So find a way to serve your school. Be gracious when you go in and check out at your office, and be sure to save a donut for your principal or for the office people, because they are your friends, people. Let me just tell you what. So save some donuts for them. Now, if you don't have any system or any example or any process for putting together a Bible club, let me encourage you to check out firstpriorityal.com. That's firstpriorityal.com. So there'll be a link down in the description below, and they have we here in the state of Birmingham, we have a great network of youth workers and youth pastors and leaders, and the folks who are staffed over at First Priority do a fantastic job of networking youth pastors together and helping facilitate these student-led Bible clubs. And if you are interested in more information information, I encourage you to go check out the website, and they will be able to help you maybe start something in your community. But that's it for tonight, guys. I appreciate you guys being a part of the channel here. I appreciate all your comments. You guys are lighting it up with the comments lately. I sure do appreciate that. Be sure to leave questions, comments. Do you have a Bible club? Do you have any questions about starting a Bible club? Do you have anything going on that you need to ask questions about with your Bible club? Feel free to use those comments section. That's what that's there for you to be able to ask questions, and of course I will do my best to answer them. But if you're brand spanking new to the channel and you checked it out today, I hope you learned something. I hope that I was able to serve you in some manner, and I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of this great community here. So be sure to hit the subscribe button around here when it comes up. Also, click that little bell down there. That'll be your notifications button. It'll let you know when I have uploaded a video. And if you're a regular, thank you so much for being a part of this channel. It is a lot of fun to interact with you guys and be a part of your ministries in a small way, and I hope you're out there just crushing it. But that's it for tonight, guys, and I will catch you guys in the next video. We'll talk to you guys later.